Hello, I'm Ethan Hadworth, and I'll be talking to you about the age of Tiberius, from 14 AD to 37 AD. I'm first going to discuss the course of his life on the throne and how he got from rags to riches, and then I'll get into how his actions impacted art and culture in ancient Rome. Please enjoy. Tiberius Caesar was born in the year 42 BC as the son of Tiberius Claudius Nero and his wife Livia Drusilla. At the age of 2, his father fled the empire after fighting and losing against the second triumvirate, Octavian. As a result, much of his youth was spent hiding in town after town in pursuit of survival. At the age of 4, his parents divorced, and Livia was remarried to Augustus, the Roman emperor. Even still, Tiberius was among adversity. He was third in line of succession. To push past this feeling of inferiority, by 13 BC he'd come to hold his first consulship in Rome. Despite all this, his desire to be seen as a son by Augustus was all but ignored. In 2 BC, both of Augustus's initial heirs to the throne died unexpectedly. Tiberius was now first in line. When Augustus appointed him as heir in 4 AD, he did this with the cutting words, "This I do for reasons of state." Interestingly enough, Tiberius didn't want to be emperor as much as Augustus. Prior to this point, he'd abandoned public life and retired to the distant island of Capri. In 14 AD, a 56-year-old Tiberius became the Roman emperor. Despite his recent turn of events, he had very large shoes to fill. Augustus had over doubled the size of the Empire of Rome, and turned it into a metropolis. In his farewell address, he'd stated that, "I found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble." Tiberius had immediate problems to solve. The regions of Danube and Rhine in Rome had revolted. Though Tiberius was easily able to quell the rebellion, he had much bigger troubles at home. His difficulties in working with the Senate and his dealings with diplomacy led him to frequently say that his life was like holding a wolf by the ears. Emperorship was something he obviously didn't want to be a part of. Finally exhausted by his efforts in the Senate, Tiberius returned to his vacationing home at Capri in 26 AD. He would never return to Rome, instead drinking so much that he earns the nickname Tiberius, meaning hot with wine. Rumors of his secret orgies at Capri also gave him a scandalous reputation back in Rome. During his extended retreat, Tiberius appointed his closest friend, Lucius Aelius Sejanus, to watch over the Senate. Sejanus quickly began pulling in power for himself and created a web of spies to monitor potential threats. Sejanus organized trials that resulted in the mysterious deaths of the heirs to Tiberius. Before long, Sejanus was emperor in all but name. Luckily, Tiberius received a letter from his sister-in-law warning him of the impending threat. Outraged, he sent an order in 31 AD to have Sejanus arrested. Soon after, he was publicly executed, and his body was carried throughout the streets of Rome before being thrown into the Tiber River. Beyond panicked that his most trusted friend sought to betray him, Tiberius began to suspect all those around him. Beginning in 33 AD, he instituted a reign of terror. Dozens were tried and killed based entirely on suspicions, and he devised among the most cruelest torture methods for the accused. Continuing his relentless persecution, Tiberius died a lonely man on March 16, 37 AD, at the age of 78. He was suspected to have died of natural causes, although there are some claims that he was murdered by a Roman centurion at his island in Capri. So now let's examine some of the impacts that he had on Roman life. For one, and I quote, "He profoundly disliked gladiatorial games and made no attempt in pretending to do so." At the time, the emperor was expected to enjoy the games as the people did. His disapproval of the games led to a disrespect for leadership among the Roman public. Among Tiberius's odder decrees, he abolished public kissing and prevented his own birthday from being celebrated. During his reign, he also organized almost no public shows, and made the exchange of New Year's gifts illegal. Prior to Tiberius, many of the lower class relied on such events for sustenance and welfare. Perhaps Tiberius's most shocking act was to go on a permanent vacation to Capri. This is similar to the president leading America from a private island. In doing so, he was seen by the public as a man of cowardice. His supposed actions involving drinking and sex there also served to reduce the legitimacy of the Roman name. Tiberius's tendency to put too much trust in others led to Sejanus almost completely succeed and taking the throne for himself. During the span of Sejanus' attempted coup, almost the entirety of the Senate had their hands tied behind their back. Unable to make authentic decisions, the democratic factor of Rome came to a standstill. Following Sejanus' execution, the reign of terror that followed served to quell any sort of supposed threat. However, it also had the effect of stifling patronage of the arts. In this bout of panic that followed, the public was so afraid to stand out in any way that cultural refinement came to a grinding halt. Emperor Tiberius funded almost no public works during his reign in the city of Rome. The ones that he did fund remained unfinished for several years. As a result, the flourishing culture that was experienced during the time of Augustus came to a stop. For the public, the sense of progressivism, previously seen, now seemed entirely absent with Tiberius's reign. Most importantly, today Tiberius is known as the first in the line of Julian emperors. What followed him were three despotic rulers who are among the most tyrannical in Roman history: Caligula, Claudius, and Nero. This can be entirely linked back to Tiberius's inability to protect the center of power in Rome and to exercise sufficient authority. After looking into the background of Tiberius, it can be realized that it was not his ability to abuse power that made him infamous. Instead, it was his inability to use his power effectively that led to the decline of Rome. His actions as a whole made the government weak and vulnerable to tyranny, which stifled the sense of Roman culture and art. Tiberius once said to his peers, "Let them hate me, provided they respect my conduct." He did manage to instill fear into the very heart of Roman life, reducing patronage and killing the sense of confidence among the people. However, he lacked every modicum of respect among his people, the Senate, and even his closest friends. All these things and more led to a downward spiral equaling the destruction of the Roman Empire. Thank you.